Good evening. It's October 20th, 2021. We're at a Board of Education regular meeting. It is 7 p.m. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dobbins.
Here.
Mrs. Etter.
Here.
Mr. Naaman.
Here.
Mr. Souchaki.
Here.
Mrs. Schukert.
Here, 5 present, 0 absent. On behalf of the board, I would like to welcome all students, staff, and parents and interested community members to tonight's Board of Education meeting. The board values and encourages public comment on education issues. Anyone having an interest in actions of the board may participate during the public comments section of the meeting. Please identify yourself on the board sign-in sheet, which is outside on the table as you come in. A copy of the board meeting agenda is available for a review on our school district's website. Please silence your cell phones during the meeting. At this time, can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Moved by, all three of you did. Mr. Dobbins, you're closest, I could hear you.
Okay. Moved.
Okay, can I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Naaman. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dobbins.
Aye.
Mr. Naaman.
Aye.
Mrs. Etter.
Aye.
Mr. Souchaki.
Aye.
Mrs. Schukert.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Next up, presentations. I'll hand it over to you, Mr. Evans.
And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Jantovich.
All right. As I say every month at this time, Students of the Month, my absolute favorite time of the month. Get to recognize a bunch of awesome kids here at Cuyahoga Heights Middle School and High School. So first up, we're going to start with our 6th grade Student of the Month, Emma Gasper. So Emma, in talking to her teachers and her, brightens everybody's day with a friendly smile. They say the first thing they recognize when she walks in is her smile. She treats her peers with kindness, with respect, works hard to understand the challenging concepts in the classroom, asks good questions, always offers help to peers. She never gives up in class and goes above and beyond to help others. When I talked to Emma today, she talked about the teachers being the best things about Cuyahoga Heights. You're going to hear that as a resounding theme pretty much through everyone that I talked to today. Favorite class is social studies. She just likes learning about things that they've taught in class. She really loves to draw, and one of these days I hope that she draws something for me to display in my office. She said it's a way to express herself, and she's really looking forward to having an opportunity to take a variety of art classes in the future, especially in high school. When I asked her who she looked up to, she was like, I don't know. But she did say that her favorite teacher was Mrs. Boswell, and we know the impact that she's had on all of us here at Cuyahoga Heights. So Ms. Boswell will be extremely proud of you as we are here being our 6th grade Student of the Month. All right, next up, Curtis Dan Wiener. DeViener, come on down. Divner, my bad. All right. So Curtis is a new student to us, and it always makes me extremely excited when we have a brand new student being Student of the Month, because it means that came in and had an immediate impact here at Cuyahoga Heights. Productive participant in class, adds to class discussion, is respectful to all students in there, is a leader already, not only in the classroom, but his coaches are saying that he's a leader out there on the athletic field. He has a great sense of humor with his peers and his teachers, and his teachers shared they love that because he provides that sense of relief in the classroom and does it at the right time in a respectful way. Enjoys playing sports here at Heights, recently football and basketball in the future. He loves math, PE, and reading as his favorite classes. Math, he says it comes naturally to him. PE, he gets to be active, and reading, he just loves to read. He also enjoys being outdoors, being active. He has a goal. He has a goal to play sports in college, get himself a scholarship. And what I was really impressed was he was able to articulate what he needs to do to get there. And he says, I need to work hard in the classroom, the weight room, on the field, and everything that he does. He looks up to his brother, Devin Dezek, ninth grader, because he's the one who got him into sports and is a good role model for him. So without any further ado, here's our 7th grade Student of the Month. Aidan Erczeski. Got Aidan? Yeah. All right. So Aidan, 8th grade. Once again, another pleasure to have in class. He's always ready to learn, participates in each lesson, and his teacher talks about that. There's a difference between participating and then there's a difference between deeply adding to the conversation. And his teachers say that he adds something to the classroom that's felt every day when he's in there. Shows a very high level of respect for his peers and his teachers. When I talked to him, what does he like about Cuyahoga Heights? He loves the community here, and he loves the kids here at Cuyahoga Heights. And I thought this was great. I love this. He said, the teachers here seem to like their jobs and get along. Supposedly at his other school, that wasn't something that happened all the way. And I feel that, too, that took place. Favorite teacher, Mrs. Douglas and Mrs. Nolan, says he's nice. They're nice. He loves reading. They love reading. They're inspiring. They have neat classes for him. Loves playing video games. His goal is to grow as a student. I thought that was huge to recognize that. But he says, yeah, I also want to get good grades, which obviously being Student of the Month, he's already knocking it out of the park. He looks up to his brother and his father. He likes his brother's style. And he said he looks up to his dad because his dad's always happy, and his dad does active stuff with him all the time. So congratulations, Aidan, on being the 8th grade Student of the Month. Ninth grade, Joey Shea. Right. So middle school is a team, but decisions. But when it comes down to high school, it's always recommended by a teacher. So Joey here was recommended by Miss Ogden. Miss Ogden said he's a polite student who is respected by his classmates. He's respectful to his classmates. He works extremely hard in class, and he pushes himself when he is out of his comfort zone, which is not something that most freshmen do. A lot of times when things get challenging, they start to shut down. Miss Ogden teaches a creative writing class, which a lot of freshman boys would be nervous to take that class, but he stepped up in there and he's doing wonderful things in there. It gives him an opportunity to write about different things in that class. He said his favorite class is science class with Mr. Patterson. He said in the future he'd like to do something in the science career field. There's a lot of different opportunities out for him to access that. Free time, he likes to chill out and play video games. Madden 22 is his favorite. And I love this one. He likes to be the Browns because he likes the Browns. Go Browns. A lot of kids want to be the Chiefs so they could play with Mahomes. But he's the Browns so he can take it to be the winner. So we'll be rooting for him tomorrow night. He looks up to his parents. The way that they raised him, they're very nice, they're very supportive and caring. So congratulations on being this month's Student of the Month, Joey. All right, Maddox Jones. All right. Maddox Jones was nominated by Miss Mason, geometry teacher. Obviously, you could just tell he has a radiant personality just by seeing him. Active participant in class, continuously focused, stays on class, on task when he's in there, but is developing into a positive leader in the classroom. A lot of conversations I have is when kids start to make that shift from realizing, yeah, I have a lot of energy, I have a good personality, and I could be a positive impact to impact the kids, and Maddox is doing that right now. When I asked him what's the best thing about Cuyahoga Heights, he says the teacher. He likes all of them. He said they're caring. Enjoys playing video games, especially NBA 2K, and as guessed it, he plays with the Lakers so he could be with LeBron and beat up on everybody in the game. That's what I do when I play my son. Currently, you can catch him out on the soccer pitch as the striker on our soccer team. They beat Brooklyn this past week. On Saturday, they're playing Tuscaloosa or some school somewhere out there. So he promised me a victory on that one. He likes working with computers and can see himself working with computers in the future. Currently taking AP computer principles. Has built his own computers, done a lot of things in there. So he has a great opportunity for the future. And he looks up to his dad because his dad's successful and is just a cool guy. So congratulations, Maddox, on being this month's student of the month, or this month's 10th grade student of the month. Dia Patel. Dia is not here, but we're going to recognize it, and I knew Lily wasn't going to be here either, but I'm going to share about them because they were nominated. Senora Bennett nominated Dia Patel, who's a great student who produces exceptional work in class. She asks great questions, but she's also really deeply involved in her school community. Dia is continuously volunteering her time for various causes in the school and outside the school. I've asked her what she likes. She's had a great experience here at Cuyahoga Heights. Her favorite class is AP US History. She never thought she was a history person, but she really loves this class, the things that they're learning about and the interactions that they're having in that class. She wants to get her pharmacy tech license here pretty soon. I think when she turns 18 and has that opportunity, because she wants to go to school to Case Western Reserve to be a pharmacist. She looks up to Mrs. Neville because Mrs. Neville is inspiring and reminds her of all the good that is out there in the world. So Dia's not here, but we want to recognize her being for the 11th grade student of the month. And Lily Frank, 12th grade, was nominated by Miss McPherson, our art teacher here. Miss McPherson said she is hardworking, creative, and dedicated to what she loves. And if anybody has ever seen any of her artwork, it's probably one of the best art students that I have ever seen. We're working on looking at the opportunity to paint a mural somewhere, hopefully on my office wall, of all the good things with this talented class. She's currently the vice president of Art Club. She's a fantastic artist, strives at her craft. When I asked her about it, she says she loves the people at Cuyahoga Heights and have an opportunity to take a variety of classes. And very insightful, she said Cuyahoga Heights is small and everyone thinks Cuyahoga Heights is cliquish. But she's like, there's so many different classes that you can go to, that every class that you go to, there's a different group of people that have different interactions and different experiences. And she said that's what she absolutely loves about this place. With her art background, she wants to get into architecture. She hopes to attend either Carnegie Mellon or Cornell. She applied for early decision for Cornell, so fingers crossed that decision's coming pretty soon for her. And she said she just wants to leave her mark by setting a good example for the younger students here at Cuyahoga Heights. She looks up to Mr. Dippert and Mrs. Neville, her English teachers that she had the past 2 years, because she can tell that they love what they do and they strive to make a difference in kids' life every single day in the classroom. So that was your 12th grade student of the month, Lily Frank.
It always makes that noise when I have to bring it. I am so excited because I get to have our students of the month from the elementary school here this evening with me. I had them in my office yesterday. We had a great conversation. It was a lot of fun in there. We were laughing. So we're going to start with Logan Benno. Come on up, Logan. Logan is in 4th grade. He lives in Brooklyn Heights with his mom, Sarah, and dad, Philip, and sister, Lila, who's in 3rd grade. He has a dog named Chief, and we had a really long discussion because I thought Chief would be a big dog name, but then he explained to me how Chief got his name and that it really is a puppy, and we had a very long conversation about that, and it was very insightful. And then we talked about his gecko, Little Donnie. We have no idea where that name came from, but it was a good conversation anyway. I asked him what his favorite subject was, and he said science because he loves experiments. His favorite essential class is phys ed because he likes to be physical, he likes running around, and he is athletic. When I asked him what he likes to do outside of school, no surprise, play soccer, baseball, football, basketball, and he's even helping his sister a little bit with volleyball. I guess she got a new volleyball recently. And then we talked a lot about mom and dad playing volleyball too. So I learned all kinds of things about your family. It's great. He also likes to, when it's not nice out, he'll watch TV. Or he was telling me about KiwiCo, which is a monthly subscription where he gets to build things. So that's really cool too. You'll have to show me some pictures, okay? When he grows up, I said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he said, I don't know. I don't really think about it so much, but a builder or maybe a zookeeper since I love animals, and of course a professional athlete. When I asked him about a favorite book, he said, I can't pick one. And then he wanted me to say to his mom and dad, thank you for making me a nice and caring kid. That's why I got Student of the Month, even though I didn't see it coming. And when he walked into my office, I said, Students of the Month, and he said, I didn't see that coming. It was great. So Logan was nominated by the 4th grade teachers. Mr. Salzwimmer is here tonight. Mrs. Stafford is here tonight. Mrs. Meister could not be here this evening, but this is what they had to say about him. Logan Benno is the 4th grade Student of the Month. Logan comes to school with a positive attitude and puts forth a strong effort in all of his classes. He is always up for a challenge and loves to try new things. He works well independently and utilizes his time wisely. He asks questions and wants to do his best. Logan is a role model for the other students, and we're glad to have him as our 4th grade Student of the Month. Congratulations, Logan. And it's not going to be long before he's taller than me. Madison, I have hope. Madison might not be taller than me before she leaves elementary school. So next we have Madison Rayban. Well, with those heels, who knows, girl? Hold on to that. Madison is also in 4th grade. She lives in Brooklyn Heights with her mom, Nicole, and her brother, Tyler, who's in 7th grade, and her dog, Noah. I asked her what her favorite subject was, and she said math. I asked her why, because I'm very good at it. And then I asked her what else. She said reading, because I'm pretty good at it. And her favorite essentials are art, because she loves painting, and she wants to be an artist. And music, because she loves to sing, sometimes with her mom. Have to show me. And she also loves PE, because they get to do fun stuff. So she had a really hard time making decisions, which is great. That means she just loves school. When she is not at school, she likes to play basketball and football outside with her brother, and she said they have a lot of room in the front yard for football. They like to play hide and seek, but they don't have a lot of places to hide. But I thought that was neat that you play with your brother, too. I asked her what she wants to be when she grows up. She said, I have no idea. I like a lot of things. And I said, that's okay. You guys are only in 4th grade. You don't have to know what you want to do. Her favorite books are the Junie B. Jones series. And to her mom, she said, thank you for teaching me to be nice. I'm really happy about being Student of the Month. Madison was nominated by the fourth grade teachers, again, Mrs. Stafford, Mrs. Meister, and Mr. Salzwimmer, and they said, Madison is always trying her best and working hard in every class. She actively participates in class and is engaged in the lessons. Madison is respectful and kind to both her peers and teachers. We know that she'll come to class each day ready to learn and with a positive attitude. She is always willing to help those around her. Madison sets a wonderful example for the other students, and we are so happy to have her as our fourth grade Student of the Month. Congratulations, Madison. We have one more recognition here, and then I told the kids that I'd say you should take them for ice cream.
It's always ice cream season. I have a resolution for the Board of Education. This resolution, whereas the Cuyahoga Heights School District has been fortunate to have dedicated staff committed to the mission of the district, and whereas Joel Kovich, a.k.a. Big Red, is extremely enthusiastic about teaching at CHS and has shown this through his dedication and respect that he has for his students, staff, and the Heights community, and whereas Mr. Kovich is a fantastic leader for the middle school kids and is passionate about them using basketball to learn life lessons to become better individuals, and whereas Mr. Kovich is fiercely dedicated to the middle school basketball program, which includes running summer camps, open gyms, and coaching the season, and whereas Joel Kovich also serves as the fall faculty manager, which requires him to be at the school almost daily to assist with all after-school events, and whereas Big Red is the voice of Heights Nation, the greatest nation. He announces games, pep rallies, homecoming, and even appears at elementary school events to get the future of Heights Nation excited with school spirit. And whereas Joel is always looking to do what is best for kids, he has had experience teaching in many districts and understands how special it is to be at Cuyahoga Heights. And whereas Joel Kovich's love of teaching and cheerful attitude sets an extraordinary example for both students and staff at Cuyahoga Heights schools. Therefore, be it resolved that the Cuyahoga Heights Board of Education congratulate Joel Kovich on his October 20th, 2021 selection to the Cuyahoga Heights School Staff Spotlight. And I would ask for a motion and approval of that resolution from the board.
So moved. Second? Yep. Mrs. Etter, second.
Moved by Mr. Suchaki, seconded by Mrs. Etter. Roll call.
Mr. Suchaki?
Yes. Aye.
Mrs. Etter?
Aye.
Mr. Dobbins?
Aye.
Mr. Naaman?
Aye.
Mrs. Schuker?
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Congratulations, Mr. Kovich.
Congratulations. And before I bring Mr. Kovich down, I'm going to give up one of his little secrets here. Big Red originated from an old red corduroy hat that Mrs. Tina had ordered years ago for the boosters, and they were corduroy and nobody wanted to buy them. And she had 100 of these red corduroy hats. And Mr. Right. So Mr. Kovich took it and therefore was transformed into Big Red. And he has the red hat, the red corduroy, and since that time, Mrs. Tina has, I think, sold out of the red hats. So the legend of Big Red is alive and well. But we thank Mr. Kovich for his school spirit and all that he's done, and congratulate him on the staff spotlight. And I'll come down there and pass this off to you, Joel.
Okay, next up, comments from the public. Sorry. Is there any? Thanks for signing in, guys. Okay, so next up, we're gonna move on to treasurer's business.
Take a break and then if you want to.
Sure.
Stay or?
Stay or go?
Most people don't stay. You're more than welcome to stay, or you can do the ice cream idea. We'll take like a 2-minute recess. Thank you.
Yeah, very nice recognitions tonight. Very nice. So is that one of our teachers there in the blue?
Yes, Mr. Salzman and Mrs. Stafford.
Yep.
4th grade team, they nominated the,
Mrs. Stafford, Mr. Salzman, we're waiting to the board. Mrs. Stafford, Mr. Salzman, fourth grade
Nice
teachers.
to meet you. Thanks for the nominations tonight. They were good. Yeah, it was nice recognition tonight. Okay.
thank you.
Yeah. Appreciate.
That's how you clear out a place, right?
You're your luck.
Just kidding. All right, Mr. Muccio, item number 6. We're back.
7.
6.
Thank you, Mrs. Schuker.
Help
Item 6A, motion to approve the minutes of the September 22nd, 2021 and October 6th, 2021 regular meeting as found in attachment T1. Item 7A, motion to accept the bank reconciliation financial reports and payments for board review as of September 30th, 2021, as prepared and certified by the treasurer as accurate as found in attachment T2. Item 7B, motion to approve new vendors to the school district for W-9s attached as found in attachment T3. Item 7C, motion to approve purchase orders over 5,000 as found in attachment T4. Item 7D, motion to approve a modification to the permanent appropriations for fiscal year 2022 as found in attachment T5. Item 7E, motion to approve the resolution authorizing the advancement of local taxes by the Cuyahoga County Fiscal Office for the 2021 tax year payable in 2022 as found in attachment T6. Item 7F, motion to approve the following then and now certificate pursuant to section 5705.41 of the Ohio Revised Code. It is hereby certified that both at the time of the making of this contractor order and at the date of the execution of this certificate, the amount required to pay this contractor order has been appropriated for the purpose of this contractor order and is in the treasury or in process of collection to the credit of the fund, free from any previous encumbrance. Item 7G, motion to accept the funds associated with ARP IDEA Part B Special Education Grant in the amount of $37,428.69. A new account number 516-9922 will be created entitled ARP IDEA Part B Special Education. Item 7H, motion to establish the IDEA Preschool Grant for the Handicapped Fund, number 587. The use of this fund is for the new ARP IDEA Early Childhood Special Education Grant, and that grant is item 7I. Motion to accept the funds associated with ARP IDEA Early Childhood Special Education Grant in the amount of $2,771.16. A new account number 587-9922 will be created entitled ARP IDEA Early Childhood Special Education. I ask for motions 6A, 7A through 7I for approval tonight. Thank you.
At this time, I'll take a motion to approve the treasurer's business consent agenda motions.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Naaman,
Second?
seconded by Mrs. Etter. Discussion.
Yeah, I'll just point out a couple things. 7A for the financial reports, we'll really jump into it with the five-year forecast as we talk about that. 7B, new vendors, there's just 3. Number 1 is Vasco Asphalt Company. That's for the track cleaning, painting, and resurfacing. Number 2 is Buckeye Ceramic Supply. And number 3 is Beck Center for the Arts. And Buckeye Ceramic Supply was to fix the kiln. And the Beck Center for the Arts is field trips for performing arts events that we have. The purchase orders over 5,000, we have about half dozen, 6 of them. Number 1 is Vasco Asphalt Company, and that is for the track resurface cleaning and painting. That's coming from the 300 fund. That's the athletic facilities master plan. That's the billboard money that we have. It's been earmarked for the entire stadium, so that's why we're able to use those funds for the track resurface cleaning and painting, and that's $18,043. Number 2 is College Board AP exams. That's for AP testing for the 21-22 school year, $20,500. Positive Education Program, PEP. That's one-on-one aid services for the 21-22 school year, and that's $7,884. Number 4, Johnson Dance and Gymnastics. That's for preseason practices and meet rentals. That's the athletic fund. That's $6,000. Number 5 is Super Stitch. That's for a blanket for uniform allowances for the Transportation Department for the 21-22 school year, $5,950. And number 6, Great Lakes Boiler. This is to repair and retube the elementary school boiler. That is $9,210 out of the general fund.
Can I ask just a quick question? How often do we get the track resurfaced?
Between 5 to 10 years?
No,
No.
the resurfacing, I think the first surface lasted about 12 years.
Wow.
We resurfaced it in 2014. This is actually a cleaning and repainting. And we anticipate getting at least another 12 years out of this surfacing. Our track is unique because our track is what's called a solid pour track, and this is the same quality of surface that they ran on the Olympics in 1996. It's a different kind of track. So a lot of tracks are porous that they can just kind of patch and fill. This can't be patched and filled. It's a complete solid pour all the way around it. So when it wore, actually when we had it replaced, it was dangerous because the traction off of it had worn smooth, and when it was wet, it was slick. So we had squeezed about every year out of it. One of the other things that the cleaning and the repainting of the lines, we found that, talking with Doug Amari with a number of years, he's coached track here, that we still get an excessive amount of soot from the factories here just north of us here. And you really don't think about it until we power wash the track and see the difference in the color as it gets cleaned. And so the lines are fading on it. We know we've had that track in there for almost 7 years now. It's hard to believe that it's been that long. But so we'll power wash it. We'll repaint it. Actually, it's good timing because some of the lines have changed for some of the exchange zones for track. And then we think we'll be good for easily another 5 to 6 years with that track.
Thank you.
Item 7D, the appropriation. So our modification, we actually have 7 different adjustments. Number 1 is an increase of $25,000 to the 300 fund, and that's due to the track resurface painting, along with boys basketball uniforms and volleyball equipment. Number 2, we have a decrease of $3,944 to Fund 499, and that's due to no safety grant at this point in time for fiscal year 2022. Number 3, we have a decrease of $608 to Fund 510, and that's to match with our fiscal 21 advance out. Number 4, we have an increase of $27,564 and change to Fund 572, and that's an increase due to, number 1, $290 for fiscal 21 expense paid in July of 2021. Number 2, a $12,000 fiscal 21 advance out. Number 3, we have the full Title I grant for fiscal 22 and the EOEC grant as well for fiscal 22. So that increase gets us to account for all those items. Number 5, we have an increase of $4,384 and change to Fund 584, which is Title IV, Part A. That increase is to match us with our fiscal 22 title grant that we have. Number 6, we have a decrease of $9,074 and change to Fund 590. And again, that's to account for, number 1, an expense paid in August, which was $1,150. Number 2, we have a $10,000 fiscal 21 advance out. And number 3 is the full amount of the Title IIA grant that we have in that fund. So that accounts for all those to decrease the appropriations in that fund. Number 7, we have a decrease of $5,000 to Fund 599, Title IV funds, and that's to match with our fiscal 21 advance out. Letter E, this is our motion to approve the resolution authorizing the advancement of local taxes. This is a housekeeping item that we have to do every year. If we were to look at the tax advance schedule, item T-6A, this is just a schedule from Cuyahoga County in which they let us know when we're going to be receiving our tax advances. So if we essentially don't do this resolution, they're just giving us our tax payments twice a year, all the way at the end. By this way, doing this resolution, and it's due to the county by 12/31, so we're doing it early, it just allows the county to advance to us, according to the schedule, our taxes that we have. So we get our funds quicker from the county. Let's see, letter F, our then and now certificate. This is for the ESC of Northeast Ohio. This is for a contract and purchase order that we're going to be approving later on Mr. Evans' side tonight. So by approving that, we're able to pay for the invoice that we have. G, we have a new grant, ARP IDEA. We're getting a lot of grants from the federal government. I'm almost feeling underwater from all these grants that we have. This is from President Biden's stimulus that he signed earlier this year. And we have 2 ARP IDEA grants. We have one in the amount of $37,428 and change, and that's going to Fund 516. And the other is going to a new fund, which we've never had on our books, which is why letter H is establishing that fund, fund number 587. So that's completely new, so we're establishing that fund. And then that grant is the early childhood special education in the amount of $2,771. So we're accepting both those grants and establishing the funds for those tonight. Administratively, we're working on the CCIP to submit to ODE to be able to spend these funds, and then we'll be able to appropriate it and talk more on what we're looking to spend those funds on. Those are the items I have for recommendation, for approval for tonight.
Thank you. At this point, roll call.
Mr. Nimm.
Aye.
Mrs. Etter.
Aye.
Mr. Dobbins.
Aye.
Mr. Souchaki.
Aye.
Mrs. Schukert.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Treasurer's discussions and comments.
And just one item, 9A, again, just to recap, the 5-year forecast is due next month. I've been working hard at it, so it's almost there. And we're looking to, number one, have a tentative Finance Committee review of the November 2021 5-year forecast, and that's to be scheduled October 27th, which is next week, Wednesday. So I'll send out the public notice this week for that meeting. Number two, then we'll have the work session of our regular board meeting November 3rd, and that'll be our review, Board of Education's review of the November 2021 5-year forecast. So that's a week after the Finance Committee is going to be taking a look at it. And then 2 weeks after that, at the November 17th regular board meeting, we'll have the 5-year forecast for approval, and then we'll submit it to the Ohio Department of Education. Any questions or comments on that?
Just to follow up on the conversations you and I have had about getting this finance committee organized, we sent around a kind of a preemptive or a proactive email prior to notice being done, and that's why we're couching this as a tentative meeting. But what I wanted to let people know is that thus far we've had 3 people respond that they'll attend, including our new board member elect. So I'm happy to see it should be able to join us for that meeting. Thank you.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Excellent. Next up, superintendent's business.
Section 10, motion to accept the resignation of Kelly Orlando as the elementary choir director effective for 21-22 school year. 11A, motion to approve the listed individuals on supplemental contracts and the stipulated positions for the 2021 school year for the adopted wage schedule contingent upon successful completion, BCI fingerprint and background checks. That's winter sports co-curricular positions. B, motion to, I'm sorry, I'm struggling here. Motion to approve the listed individual supplemental contracts for 21-22 school year. That's elementary school supplemental positions. Section C, motion to approve the listed individual supplemental contracts stipulated for the 21-22 school year as spring sports. D, motion to approve the individuals listed for contracts and stipulations, middle school supplemental positions. And E, motion to approve the employment of Kelly Cummins as extended learning summer school personnel on an as-needed basis for summer 2021, paid for the stipends outlined in the extended learning plan for 2021. 12, superintendent's business employment substitutes volunteers. A, motion to approve the attached substitute list for 21-22 is updated October 2021 by the Educational Service Center. B, Motion to approve the employment of Roy Zaganti as a substitute cleaner for 2021-22 for the adopted wage schedule contingent upon BCI FBI background checks. And 13A, motion to approve an agreement with HPS, a group purchasing organization for food service for participation in the co-op group for the 2021-22 school year at a cost of $600. B, motion to approve an agreement with TransFinder to provide transportation routing software and services for the 2021-22 school year at a cost of $13,240. C, motion to accept the ESC interdistrict agreement personnel cost sheet for 2021-22. D, motion to approve PSI service change form to increase the hours for the school health assistant form from 7 hours to 7.5 hours per day for the 2021 school year. E, motion to approve agreement with GPD for general engineering services for the 2021-22 school year. I ask that those items be approved.
Okay. I will take a motion to approve the superintendent's business consent agenda motions.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Souchaki,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Naaman. Discussion.
Obviously, a whole slew of supplemental contracts in there, both athletics, winter and spring, some volunteer positions, some positions still to fill, some shuffling of some additional supplemental positions. The choir, I think the choir was originally in thirds, and now it's halves between Mrs. Satterley and Mr. Bertolone. Mrs. Orlando is actually pregnant, so she won't be able to fulfill it. That's why she's stepping away from that, and she'll be on leave. Kelly Cummins for her services that took place in the summer as part of the IEP compliance. Kelly was left off the original list. She's she provided some additional services to fill in the student's IEP, and because she's not one of our employees or an ESC employee, she somehow slipped through the cracks, so we're adding that. We're adding Petey Zaganti as a substitute cleaner. We're short on cleaners currently. I think I said in the Friday update, I'm talking to some commercial firms about coming in on a short-term basis to help us out. I've got another substitute cleaner possibility, but some of our cleaners, one's had surgery, one just lost their husband, so we've had some illness and some pretty tragic things. HPS is a cooperative purchasing program for our food service. It's compliant with the Ohio Department of Agriculture and the Ohio Department of Education, so that helps them contract with people that we know that are falling in line with what the state's going to require for us. TransFinder was the presentation that Mr. Young gave at the last meeting. ESC agreement for 2021-22. This is one of those things that habitually we're approving in October and November. This really needs to kind of get done in the summer. We're kind of at the ESC's mercy on this. We've met with the ESC, Mr. Young, Mr. Muccio, and myself, and we're going to kind of push to finalize this in June or July or August of next summer, so we have it done before school. In the 11 years I've been here, I don't know that we've ever approved this earlier than October. They just kind of drag their feet about getting the list over and their new salaries to us and those kind of things. There's not really a sense of urgency over the ESC, and then we kind of, man, unfortunately, then has to do the then and now because we didn't approve it up front. We know that it's coming. We know that we had school to start, so we're going to work real hard with the ESC to try and move that up on their calendar to have that. They only have this kind of contract with us, Brooklyn and Richmond Heights. And we probably have the largest number of employees to the ESC, so there's not a great sense of urgency on their end. They know that they're going to get their money from us sooner or later, so they really don't.
Yeah. Did you mean Independence?
What's that?
You said Brooklyn?
No, Independence isn't servicing almost nothing through them right now. Richmond Heights ourselves and Brooklyn on a limited basis.
Okay.
PSI changed to add an additional hour for coverage of the elementary building. We needed another half hour to make sure we're overlapping there. The GPD contract is for engineering consultation and project supervision. We've got a number of small projects that we're taking on. We're going to pick back up with the best committee. We want GPD at the table with us. We're going to revisit that capital improvement plan, and we're talking to Jason Nolde to get all that stuff going. So that's what I have for approval. Are there any questions on any of that?
Hearing none, roll call.
Mr. Souchaki.
Aye.
Mr. Naaman.
Aye.
Mr. Downs.
Aye.
Mrs. Etter.
Aye.
Mrs. Schubert.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Superintendent's discussions.
Best is gonna meet on Monday in the Bonneray Media Center. Originally it was scheduled for tomorrow night, and then we realized that the Browns were playing on Thursday night. Now with all their injuries, we probably should have left it on Thursday night. Laura Garrett's all set to facilitate that. I think she's excited. I've talked to her a couple times this week. She's gonna come in and meet with Mr. Young on Friday, with that, so we're excited. I had a parent pull me aside at the soccer game last night. Very excited that the BEST committee's back up and running. Has been a longtime member of that, so, that's good there. The CVC All Boards meeting is next Thursday. I think some of you already signed up for that. Just a reminder that I might be bugging out because there's also a concert here that night, so I might go over and have dinner on the Career Center, and then come back here and listen to our orchestra play. GPD is going to be working on with the upcoming air conditioning for the elementary building, also along with BEST to adjust that permanent improvement plan. Just an update on some maintenance work that's taken place in the district. Mr. Zabola has really been at it lately. We did the gas line replacement. That's done, up and running. I noticed the last 2 days some tuck pointing was going on around the building. They've been working on the building. The front sidewalk has been repaired. We've got a great relationship with the village. We worked, part of that was theirs, part of it was ours. We worked together to make sure that was done. Summer roof project that was put on hold. We're going to store the materials here, so that's going to save us. They're going to hold that cost for us, which we didn't think was going to be possible. Right now, we're going to have to move some things around because when I met with them, they have about 12 pallets worth of materials. That way we know the materials are here, there won't be any delay, so when we get to summer, we can get that roof over the cafeteria fixed. Boiler tube replacement to take place in the elementary, you saw that, that's the fire tubes and the boilers. Tom Dalton tells me that other than that, the boilers are in pretty good shape, but being a longtime greenhouse person, I know that fire tubes need to be replaced periodically. A plan for the air conditioning install in the final 7 rooms in the elementary building. We need to do that. GPD will be involved with that moving forward. Now that those ESSER funds have been approved, we can move forward with that. Signage quote, I've got a sign company coming out on Monday to walk the district with me. 2 or 3 years ago, we looked at upgrading redoing the signage. The signage is kind of sporadic and not good in some places. Visitors to the district have a hard time sometimes finding our gymnasium, actually where to come in at. I probably spent 2 days with a person about 3 years ago, and then they never sent me a quote. So I don't know if it's a good sign or a bad sign. But I've got another company that's going to come in Monday. I'm going to walk the district with them, and I want to start getting going on just redoing our signage on the building, parking lots, all those types of things, so it's consistent throughout the district to see what that's going to cost us. Looking at some outsourcing for some evening cleaning, as I said to you also. Legislative-wise, the legislators are back at work, and I wish I could say that was a good thing. I don't know that I can say that with a lot of confidence. House Bill 435 and 238 are vaccination mandates. Both of those have been tabled right now, so they're not working on those. Senate Bill 229 is a flexibility for remote learning. That's gone to committee. I don't know how applicable that's going to be. Senate Bill 1, which has been passed by both the House and the Senate, this is a touch of irony. It was delivered to the governor, and he lost it. So they redid it and sent it back over. So that's on his desk, waiting for his signature. That will add financial literacy to high school, which will add a class. We know that we'll have to, in the future, incoming classes work on that. But the other thing that it does, it provides us some flexibility in hiring substitute teachers. Right now, they need a college degree. I will tell you that the ad in Tom Talks, I've got five inquiries. I met with 2 of them already. Look like they're going to be good fits for us to help us do some subbing. There's an extreme sub shortage throughout the state. At BASA, there was 300 and some superintendents. They asked who's short on subs, and everybody in the room raised their hand. So but this will give us some flexibility. I'm going to meet with all 5 of those. Once we can get their information over the ESC, we'll do some onboarding with Mr. Young and get them ready to go. The one that's most bothersome for me is House Bill 290. That's the backpack bill. It hasn't really moved yet, but that's a scary. That's going to allow vouchers for every student in the state with no accountability to the non-public schools. So that's like wrapping a Christmas gift and putting it under the Christmas tree for the non-publics because they'll have no testing. They won't even have to answer for how they've spent the funds. So that may be some letter writing. That may be a lot of testimony, but that's when it really needs to get squelched here and squashed out as soon as possible. So we'll see how that goes. OSBA, just some updates on that. On Monday, the Scarlet Angels perform at 11:30 at the student fair. This is in your notes on the board docket, so you can look at that under the administrative part of it. The best presentation will be at 1 o'clock. Jim Whistler's planning on coming down assisting. I'm doing a Zoom meeting with Jim tomorrow to go through what I've done to this point with the PowerPoint, and I have great hope and faith that Jim will want to blow it up and redo it himself. We'll go from there with that. The Alliance Luncheon was originally scheduled for 11 o'clock and the buffet to begin at 11:30. I told Matt, I don't know where you are as board members, but it's going to be awful difficult for us to see the Scarlet Angels and then get to our own presentation. And I know that they've always got a waiting list for that luncheon, so I'm going to, if it's okay with the board, I'm going to go ahead and call them and tell them that they can kind of use our reservations for somebody else. And then what I would like to try to do is if the Scarlet Angels are down, and I think Mr. Jantovich is going to come down on Monday too, try and find some place locally that can accommodate our group and buy lunch for the Scarlet Angels, and the board members can sit with the Scarlet Angels, and we can have a discussion with them a little bit before they have to head back to Cleveland here, if possible. And the ESC luncheon, I gave you a flyer today. That's on Tuesday from 12 to 1:30. And I'm just going to kind of let them know that they anticipate that we will be there at that. So you've got the other sign-up stuff. A couple other things. Mr. Muccio mentioned the grants. The state is kind of going round and round about funding right now, and the trend looks like as they give schools more funding, they're going to do it in the form of grants. Now, that's just going to be a big pain in the butt, for lack of any other. I'm just cutting to the chase. That's more work for Matt and Matt on their end. It's more, and it still doesn't absolve us from any of the accountability with the auditors at the end. So as opposed to just adding money to the funding formula, the appearance looks like it's going to be the state's going to start adding, like the wellness grant that the governor added. That was our, so that has to be, that's wonderful. That's some additional money, but now there has to be a plan. It has to be approved. So it really puts a lot more work on Mr. Young and Mr. Muccio from their point of view. So I'm not sure if that trend's going to stay that way, but I was in a couple superintendents' meetings that they're very fearful that that's the way that it's going to be. Dose 3 is this Friday. Thanks, Mr. Young, for sending me a little text here for the vaccine for our staff members after school Friday, starting at 2:45. This Sunday, the CVC cheerleading showcase is at Perry High School. I think it starts at 3 or 4 o'clock. It's late in the afternoon over at Perry out in Lake County. We heard a lot about some of the art kids. I will tell you, Mrs. McPherson is really been getting after it with the art kids. She's planning on an art show, an art exhibit here in November, and she's been working real hard at that. And one last thing is I got grabbed by a grandparent last night whose children have all gone through the district, who now has custody of her grandchild who's just recently come to Cuyahoga Heights. And she said, I got to tell you, Tom, she goes, I asked after a couple weeks, how was school? And the grandchild said, great, my grades are the best they've ever been in high school. And she goes, and then he goes, but the teachers at Cuyahoga Heights are like really, really weird. And she said, what do you mean by that? She goes, like they ask you how you are and like really want to know. It's like, she goes, my teachers at my other school, sometimes I didn't even think they knew that I existed, but these teachers like ask me how I am and then really seem to care about how I am and how I feel. So she thought that was kind of cute. So that was good to hear last night at the soccer game. Tournament time for our sports teams. Parent night tomorrow night for football. I'll bring plenty of handkerchiefs for Mrs. Schukert as she cries as Owen walks across the field tomorrow night.
You won't be able to see it because it's going to be raining.
That's good. You next right over the rain. And tournament time. The boys soccer team won last night. Girls volleyball is going on right now at Mogador. And if they win, they'll play Saturday, I think. Is that right, Mr. Jantovich?
Yeah, it's today, but Ryan just texted me. I was trying to get an update. First game was 5 sets, and the game has to start again. It'll be a late night for our volleyball players. Girls soccer, I believe, is tomorrow night. Cross country is at Lorraine Community College this Saturday with their district competition. So things are heating up. It looks like we will be hosting a home playoff game, at least in the first round. Lots going on right now. First music concert coming up, art show coming up.
Mrs. Bennett, you saw her recognized, and they're doing they're doing their field trip next Saturday over to the Day of the Dead.
That's
I
great.
should know enough Spanish to be able to, but, and Mr. Janatoni stopped in today, we were just talking, we have 70 students in Spanish Club this year. So a lot of really great things happen. I think our kids are excited to be back in the building, and they're just jumping on every activity they can, so really happy about that.
Just hearing field trips is so
Yeah.
Clarification, football game is Thursday night or Friday night?
Friday night, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's just
And
very
I gave you
involved
the breakdown from the communications firm.
That's good.
Newsletter ready to come out, I think it'll mail next week for the first quarter.
Good.
Looked fantastic. We sent proofs to the admin team, Margaret and Charlene working really hard at it. Looks really, really, really good. So excited about some of the things that they've been doing on that end, so for us.
It's wonderful, even as a parent, like, to click on some of those stories, like, I think I see a lot just as a parent having kids in, but their stories, like, things that we don't even know about. It's awesome
Yeah, it's really cool.
to see these different, kids and teachers featured, because like you've been saying for years, Maria, like, there's great things that we do, but we don't really always share it, so it's wonderful to read.
I'm glad we have a platform to do it now.
It's wonderful. Anything else, Mr. Evans?
Nope.
Okay, next up, and this is our second read, our board policy adoption. So it is policies 5111, 5111.02, policy 5336, policy 5350, policy 5464, policy 5516, and policy 5630.01. Any discussion on any of those items? Any questions you have for Mr. Young? Okay, so at this point, I'll make a motion to approve the board business consent agenda motions. Can I have a second?
One second.
Seconded by Mr. Naaman. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Schukert,
Aye.
Mr. Naaman,
Aye.
Mr. Dobbins,
Aye.
Mrs. Etter,
Aye.
Mr. Suchaki.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Next up, board member reports, comments. Who would like to start? Mr. Naaman, do you have anything for,
Yeah, I will. Actually, so a week ago, I did something I really enjoy. So I had a senior approach me about shadowing me for, just to look at maybe a career. And so I gave the senior an overview of our, my internal audit and compliance department. And he was very interested in like the data analytics area. And so we spent the day looking at, things that we do around business relate to analytics and how that affects the business. Outstanding. I mean, asked really good questions, really engaged. I mean, I couldn't ask for, a better person to shadow, and they were very, very, very well prepared. So that was something I really enjoyed doing. So, by all means, if there's other interested seniors that, want to go into engineering or business or analytics, kind of send them my way as the senior projects come out. So that, good luck to our all of our athletic teams this coming week and weekend. And, again, some of the things that just came out, like around the Spanish Club, that was outstanding. I couldn't believe when I saw that article. I was like, wow, like that jump in the amount of participants is just outstanding. And the things that they're doing and raising the funds and making, spreading cultural awareness, I think is really important throughout the school. So I think that's just an outstanding job. I can't say that enough. So that's all I have.
awesome, thank you. Mrs. Etter?
Once again, I enjoyed meeting the students of the month tonight and seeing the staff spotlight with Mr. Kovich and Big Red. That was wonderful. Again, too, good luck to all the sports teams. I know this is getting down and dirty towards if they can go on to playoffs and tournaments, so that's great. And just to dovetail off of what you said about your being approached for a senior project, I think it would be wonderful if our talented Lily Frank could get some kind of independent study or something under guidance with GPD, if she really has such an interest in going into architecture. Maybe there's something as, while GPD is here, working, we're paying them to help us figure out a plan for our district, and she's interested in going into architect, and she is so creative. Maybe this would be just a natural partnership for them, maybe like an enhancement of her
Yeah, I didn't realize that
education.
she was kind of leaning that way. The Block CH, that's her work.
I remember that, yes.
That's Lily's work.
I remember that, so I was just thinking about that as, as you presented her, this evening, and knowing that we had GPD, helping us with the next phase here of different things that we're doing. I don't know, it just seemed like a natural fit, and that's all I had to say.
Thank you. Mr. Souchaki?
I always have a few things, or generally, I should say. And this month, we're all related to CVCC. As Mr. Evans mentioned earlier, that All Bards Dinner coming up on the 28th. Hopefully, I know you were there 2 years ago, I guess was the last one we had, so I don't know if anybody else is going to be able to be there, but I hope you can make it.
I have parent-teacher conferences at my job, unfortunately, that evening, so
Yeah, you missed the last one.
I had to
too.
change my RSVP. I'm very bummed out about that.
Yeah.
but
Sorry, because I know you'd love to be there,
I do, but life,
because you know some of the
Happens.
people there,
It's a good evening, though.
like your son.
it's a great evening.
It's great to tour there, it really is.
Yeah, it is.
Been there, yes.
It is, and this year's highlighted course is medical assistance. Okay. So that means we'll meet in that part of the building. We'll have some hors d'oeuvres and things in there while we get to see what the program is like before the dinner itself. So, November 4th is well, we got a meeting, we'll have a meeting that night right after the dinner. And then our next meeting will be on November 4th. It's a special meeting where we're going to go over the strategic plan. We do that annually. That is the only meeting we have in November. We do not have a regular board meeting in November. I found some interesting things on enrollment. I think I mentioned them last time, but I didn't have the sheet with me. For first-year enrollment for the current school year, what we do is we have the raw numbers by district, and then we have the percentages by district, percentage of students from that district who are attending the Career Center. And the average is 21%, 21.7. We have 43.5% of our students attending the Career Center.
In
That
grades
is
11, 12, right?
11, that's first year.
Oh, just
I'm
11,
sorry.
first year, okay.
First year. That is almost double the next height, the average, almost double the average.
We have the highest market share
Yeah, by
at
far.
the Career Center.
And for second-year enrollment, our percentage is a little lower, it's 32%, but it's still the highest district, and again, close to double with the school's averages, which is 17. So it's good to see that our students are really taking advantage of what's there, because, boy, there's a lot of wonderful stuff down there. One of those wonderful things is the cosmetology, and they opened again. Today was their first day open to the public. I have information if you'd be interested. The problem is it's a very narrow window, 12 to 2, 3 days a week, so not many of us can make that. But I was there on their first day.
I was gonna say, did you get your hair cut?
So,
'Cause it
yes,
looks
I
good.
did. And I would like to thank Madison Krasnoik for this haircut. Madison is one of our students.
I was gonna say, your hair looks really nice.
Yeah, well,
They did
I
a
will
good
pass
job.
that.
They did a good job.
I will pass that along to her next time I see her, so. But anyhow, I think it's good to be able to get, to be part of the community, right? I think it's good that board members can do that. And I'm certainly trying to encourage the other board members down there to do the same sort of thing. And our new one from Garfield Heights, I think, is doing that. She's already taken the time, this is only her second month, she's already taken the time to